Congressman Mike Johnson. Hey, Mr. Mike, how are you this morning?
Hey, Robert, great to hear your voice.
Not a bad seat last night, huh? You and I have talked a couple of times about since you went to Washington, the things you do and the places you go and the things you see, and you've just got to be pinching yourself. Last night had to be one of those moments.
It was surreal. I've used the word a few times this morning. We're in the middle of history. This is a historic moment. I think America is on the mend, and as the president said last night, it's a renewal of the American spirit. I can tell you it was felt in the House chamber last night. There's just excited.
There's one of the first things I said on the air this morning was, whether you love Donald Trump, whether you voted for Donald Trump, or whether you're one of those guys or women in the white suit sitting in the back of the chamber last night doing thumbs down, there's no denying it's Donald Trump's world. We're all just living in it.
It is, and it was so encouraging. I told him on the way out, I was standing right by the door as he walked out, and I grabbed him by the hand and grabbed his shoulder, and I said, "Mr. President," it was Reagan-esque, and he lit up. I mean, I think it was. He talked about optimism and the vision for this country and unity and strength, and it was exactly what I think we all needed to hear right now, and we're ready to do that good work.
Where do you think this change of his demeanor, his attitude, comes from? You think it's his people telling him, you can do better, Donald, do better?
I think that's part of it, Erin, but it's also self-reflection. I saw an interview he did, I think, the day before yesterday on Fox News, and they asked him, how would you grade yourself? And he said, for effort, an A+, and he said, for communication, probably a C- or something like that. I mean, he recognizes that he's not been the best articulator of the vision. And so I think he's changed that a little bit. The word is that he did most of that speech himself, that he at least worked on the final drafts, even up to a few hours before the speech. And it reflected, as he said in his own words, his real heart on these matters. And I think that resonates with the people of this country. It's exactly the message that we need to hear. People want to believe in America again. And we do. And so there's this sense of optimism and excitement, and we're ready to work on that agenda.
The Democrats, most ladies, I believe, wearing white, was that any kind of distraction to him or to anyone in the audience?
I don't think it was a distraction. I mean, their purpose was to pay homage to the suffragettes, and that's good, that's appropriate. All the thumbs down stuff was sort of silly. I mean, there wasn't a lot in that speech that anybody could disagree with, And but I'll tip my hat to the president. The way he handled it was great. He kept the tone of the speech as he wanted, and it was just very, very well received. I mean, I was watching a couple of interviews this morning on the way out to our meetings, and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, they're really struggling for negative things to say, and that's a good sign.
Did anything in the speech surprise Congressman Mike Johnson?
I don't think there were many surprises, but the themes about getting America moving again, about this aggressive agenda for growth and tax and regulatory reform and repealing Obamacare, strengthening our borders, rebuilding the military. All these are the things that he ran on, that all of us ran on. We know these are the critical needs of the country, and we're ready to get that done. I mean, this agenda is moving along. We're on a 200-day schedule, the Republicans in the House, and we're working methodically, step by step, on every piece of that agenda. And it's going to happen. This is going to be, I think, a historic time for the country, and it's just exciting to be a part of it.
And yet, in my opinion, at least to a degree on the Republican side, on the Senate side, a bunch of Republicans, is it just the way it's being reported? Am I misreading? Some of them are wavering now that they're feeling a little heat. Do you sense that too?
There is some angst on the Senate side. It's more difficult to get things through the Senate than it is the House on sensitive matters like this. But look, I think we're going to have the necessary votes to move these big pieces of the agenda. And those that don't get on board, I think they're going to regret it, because I think the American people are demanding that this happen. I really do think we have started a new era for the country, and it's long overdue.
Obamacare, tax reform, immigration reform. I know that's a big chunk of everything, but what is the status of those in the House of Representatives right now?
Well, there are a couple of different ideas that are being discussed even this morning on the replacement part of repealing Obamacare. I think there will be a consensus built around it. We don't know exactly which plan it will be yet, but I think we will know that in the coming days. And then the tax reform will be the next piece that's moved along. All this is done in a certain sequence because it has to be. And regulatory reform has already begun. We did that beginning the first week of the Congress, and will be a continuing piece as we go forward. Immigration and border reform, I'm on the subcommittees that handle all that. And border security is a critically important piece of this. Everybody's on board with it. All this is going to happen, I think, in the first 200 days, Robert. I mean, this is not a 4-year plan, a 6 or 8 year plan. This is a right now agenda, and we're moving on it. I mean, we're working. This schedule that this Congress is working is just relentless. I mean, we do 18, 20-hour days regularly, and we're going to be doing that all throughout the year. So we're going to get these things done.